One of my pet things lately, this is, section two or whatever you want to call it for today, which is the 28th, I guess, of June. Um, and I'm informal, and I hope you can understand that. That's one reason why I do well with my domestic violence groups. I remind them, I'll have people from other programs say, what therapy, and what theory do you use for therapy? How do you control your people? And I'm like, wait a second. I said, one of the things that's a little different in my groups, I said, based in Beverly Hills. We don't have a lot of frequent flyers to the courts, and to jail. Most of my people, when they got busted on the DV, they're the batterers, the ones that got in trouble. I said most of them have, probably never been in court before, and they've never been arrested, and all this sort of stuff. And like I tell my students up at Mount St. Mary's University, I said, um, I probably have learned as much over the 30 or 40 years I've been doing therapy as I have from reading books. Not knocking books, don't get me wrong. As a kid, I was a great one for reading autobiographies and biographies and, historical books and then some novels and not much else. I wanted to know what was going on in the world. Okay. And, we learn and we learn, but I tell my people, the students in my sociology classes and that, I said, I learn an awful lot from the people that I deal with. Okay. And one of the things in my DV group that's come up a number of times is that, uh, even if they're a doctor, if they're a millionaire, billionaire, if they're a celebrity, things can still go wrong. We can still make mistakes. And this is where the mortal thing comes in. I always tell them, I said, think about the Dalai Lama said, if you lose, don't lose the lesson. So we hope you're not going to lose the lesson. But I know in my groups, okay, I'm an old guy, okay? I know with my students at the university, I'm an old guy. And guess what? I'm an old guy. And when I try to get things across to people, if I sat there, one of the ones that I loved was about 15 years ago, I had a young man who was 21, he got busted, and he was in the domestic violence class. And we're in the office in Beverly Hills, South Beverly Drive. And he sat down in the group and he said, Doc, he said, I don't know what the hell you're going to teach me. He said, I saw what you're driving out there. He said, you're driving a Ford SUV. He said, look at what I'm driving. And he tossed his keys across the floor. And of course, it was a Ferrari. And my answer to him was, I said, dude, I said, I'm probably not going to be able to teach you anything, but shut up and let's get through the program and get you through your time. They had to spend 52 weeks with us, okay? But I realize that, you know, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn and learn and learn. And a lot of the people, when they finish my program, they'll sit there and say, wow, Doc, you know, this was supposed to have been a penalty, getting busted for domestic violence, 273.5 Penal Code. But I've actually learned more about myself and my life. Okay, now, how do I get across to them? I can't sit there as an old guy and sit there and say, I know everything. And I'm always telling my students that come in and sit in and intern once in a while, you're young, you've got all the knowledge in your head, you've read all the books, you've done all the stuff, but they're not going to want to listen to you if you just sit there and say you're wrong. You need to do this, you need to do that. So I use something I call joke and poke. I want them to be comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm informal. Okay. I don't come in, reminding them like a lot of the programs, they remind people, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to send you back to the court or back to jail. And a lot of the programs do that. I don't. I'd rather they stay because they want to learn. And I also tell them 1 out of 3 of you is going to make some good growth. 1 out of 3 of you is going to make some changes because you don't want to get in trouble again. But that's learning too in the long way, right? And then 1 out of 3 of you come in as assholes and you're going to leave same.